2012's new crop of Formula 4 talent is about to take on one of the fastest tracks in the country. The battle's on to see who'll be king of the kids and possibly the next big thing in Aussie motor racing. Well, the junior stars of Australian motorsport are back in action today. It's round 2 in the Australian Formula 4 Championship here at Symmons Plains on the outskirts of Launceston. Former series runner-up from 2006 was Tim Slade from Lucky 7 Racing. He's gone on to some good things of late. He joined us in the co-driver's chair today. And Tim, the mix in this championship is really good this year.
Exactly right. We've got 3 different teams filling the top 3 positions of the championship. A couple of different chassis manufacturers, and you know that holds us in good stead for a tight, close, exciting championship. And you know, here at Symmons Plains Raceway, it'll be no different. Just like our category, you know, the whole field will be covered by tenths of a second, so it'll be really hard for one person to jump out and take a commanding lead this weekend.
We haven't seen anybody do that with one round down in this championship. It's the guy though who came so close last year who's off to a great start in 2012.
Finishing runner-up in last year's Formula 4 Championship has inspired Jack LeBrock to go one better this year. One round into the championship, he's on the right track and holds the early lead heading into Symmons Plains.
Just got to go out there and try to get the title this year. After finishing second last year, that's our main goal, and it's all about consistency. I think it sort of worked out at the end of last year. If you finished third in every race, you would have won the championship. So yeah, still like consistency and finish up the front, so that's going to be our aim for the year.
But there is a young brigade of drivers also hoping to make an impression, including his teammate at Minder Motorsports, Macaulay Jones, son of former driver and V8 Supercar owner Brad Jones. He comes from a karting background, but was quick on the pace, securing a top 10 finish in his first outing.
It's hard to explain how competitive it is. You know, it's a small field at Tasmania here, but with having 10 people, they're all that's the top 10 guys in Australia in the class. So it's very difficult racing, and you've got to be very smart with how you're doing it, and you've just got to chip away at it a lot more with looking at data. You know, in the go-karts we didn't have any data. We didn't look at computers to see what we could be doing better and how we compare to other people. So, and also having the engineer here, it's a big learning curve, and we're getting there.
Another rookie, Sam Power, will also be one to watch and sits 5th on the points table.
I guess I'm a little bit different. I never did karting before. I started my racing career in 2008, basically having had no motor racing experience whatsoever other than Kartmania a couple of times with some mates, and yeah, I did whatever I could to get a test in a race car and eventually got one, and it sort of snowballed from there.
Matthew Hart secured his first race win at Albert Park. Now he has the taste for it. He's determined to challenge LeBrock in the lead pack.
Hopefully I can win the championship. We've put ourselves in a good position after the first round, so with 47 points, only 9 behind Jack, and that's probably my best result so far, so it's put us in a good place for the rest of the year.
Gary Jacobson is another familiar face and sits 3rd in the championship. He's hoping to improve on the momentum gained in 2011.
Last year was about getting into a racing team that gave me a great car, and all I had to focus on was just racing as hard as I could possibly go. And I proved that in a few rounds. I went into 2nd place, and Sandown got 2nd place. So the car speed's there, and I think this year is my year.
A disastrous run in the opening round for Shay Davies means he will take an aggressive approach this weekend to try and rein in his rivals.
We can't be conservative. We've really got to fight for first position to take home the maximum points from each weekend, and I don't see why we can't do that. We're a very competitive outfit this year, and we'll give it the best shot.
Stick around. When we return, it's time to go racing. You're watching round 2 of the Australian Formula 4 Championship. There were only 10 cars on the grid for race 1, but the whole field qualified within a second of the pole sitter, Gary Jacobson.
Great jump from the front row from Shay Davies, the 22-year-old from the Gold Coast. Leads us through the first few turns, and Tim, he had a shocker. He bombed at Albert Park. He's desperate for points.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, he's going to do everything in his power to make sure he gets out of this weekend with as many points as possible.
Gary Jacobson settling into 2nd spot, driving for the Sonic team again this year. 3rd in the championship after round 1 in Melbourne. Jack LeBrock, there he is in 3rd spot. The red and white Minder run, Cam's rising star Magal. He is the championship leader, but the guy who's second in the championship, Matthew Hart, is right on his gearbox.
And he's towed up to LeBrock, and he's going to go down the inside. And as we see, Jacobson by Davies as well.
So double pass at turn 6. Hart gets LeBrock, Jacobson to the lead.
The front three drivers put on a great race, and as it progressed, the braking duels became more and more daring.
This back straight, Tim, it's so good to get a slipstream, and that's what Shea Davies is doing, trying to sneak on down the inside. He's used all of the road and some of the grass.
Yeah, Jacobson really pushed him to the inside there. So.
Oh, he's back up the inside, though. Davies runs it wide, and he gets the spot back.
I mean, a move like that, braking so late, you're always going to struggle to pull it up, and he just ran a little bit wide on the exit there, and Jacobson did the good switch back to get back through.
The top three clearing away. Jack LeBrock back in 4th spot. Now Davies back in the tow again, trying to do the same move as last time around, but Jacobson blocks. Oh, this is tight. He runs out of road. Now, did Davies go somewhere he shouldn't have, or did Jacobson push?
Well, it's a tough one.
Get off the fence.
I'll have to see it again, but I think by the looks of that, Jacobson probably pushed him a little bit wide and ran him out of road.
Let's have a look again on the replay. He's in the mirror. He's looking to see where Davies is. He's on the inside, but he does start to move.
Yeah, I think Jacobson was probably in the wrong a little bit there.
The battle for 4th was another great duel that continued for the entire race.
On board with Tom Ghost, the South Australian, who is in the slipstream of Jack LeBrock. This is the fight for 4th spot, and turn 6 has been the place to pass today.
Definitely, you know, it's probably one of 2 major passing spots at this track, and there's no better feeling when you're towing up to that car in front, and he gives you a bit of space to fire through on the inside.
Oh, but it's the old over and under trick, because LeBrock gets back through, and Jack struggled this weekend. He reckons that car's a little bit down on engine power, so he's really having to drive the wheels off it to keep in touch.
Not something you want at Symmons Plains News.
Tom Ghost here, the Team BRM Magal, hanging on to 4th spot from Jack LeBrock, who's off to Austria after this weekend to take part in the FIA Young Driver Academy. But at the moment, he's desperately trying to get back to 4th spot, but he's in the tow here.
It can be quite difficult to get past at the hairpin, and that's what you see LeBrock doing here, giving him a little tap, because you actually start from the inside and then make your way to the outside before you turn into the hairpin.
You reckon that was a little tap? Have a look at the mark on the nose cone.
Oh, the nose cone's still on. It's all good.
Now he'll have another run here on the exit of the hairpin. You can see the grooved Avon tyre working hard. Now he pulls out to the outside for the sweeper. He needs to get in front. He's got it done.
Didn't look too down on power there to be able to get by without the slipstream.
He's got a big margin, though, if he's to catch the top 3 in this race.
Just a few laps from the finish, Jacobson managed to break away from the other's tow and took a long-awaited victory.
This is a breakthrough for the 20-year-old from Shepparton in country Victoria. Jacobson picks up his first race win in the Australian Formula 4 Championship. Hart home in 2nd. Shea Davies, fastest lap of the race. He's 3rd in the Mike Baldwin run spectrum. 4th is LeBrock. Tom Ghost follows him across the line in 5th spot for the young South Australian. Liam Sager's 6th, Sam Power in 7th. Rhett Noonan, no, he's not a relation of mine, he's 8th. Simon Hodge 9th, and Macaulay Jones rounds out the 10.
Well, Gary, you've been on the cusp of getting there. You've finally claimed a race win. Well done.
Yeah, it's a pretty good feeling, and just to give the boys something back for all the hard work they've done has been really good.
A lot of dicing. You and Shea got a little close there at one stage.
Yeah, he was hard to race with, but I'm sure we'll figure it out for the next race.
Yeah, what is it about the nature of the track part of the problem?
It's just slipstream. Like, I've got a really good car and I'm fast around the corners, but like, you know, sometimes when everyone's just getting the slipstream off you and making big dives, it's just hard to keep everybody happy.
Don't go anywhere. All the action from race 2 is next. You're watching the Australian Formula 4 Championship from Tasmania. There was drama on the grid for race 2.
Another 15 laps, and it's Hart versus Jacobson. Hart has got the jump. Down the back, though, Macaulay Jones has gone nowhere. He had a misfire in race 1. Maybe there's another engine gremlin in that McGall. He's stuck on the grid. You'd think, Tim, maybe a safety car if he can't get going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's still not going, so I'd expect to see a safety car probably by the time they get halfway down the back straight.
And the thing is, too, though, he was on the back row of the grid, so thankfully not in that situation where he was vulnerable to being hit from behind. But it's a good fight. Down in the hairpin, Rhett Noonan gets squeezed out into the guardrail, and Jones has gone nowhere, so he will have to sit and wait for some assistance. But it's Hart who leads. Jacobson second, Davies third, LeBrock fourth, but already has lost the toe. These guys are still racing hard. They're at turn 6. Now there must be a yellow flag because Matthew Hart acknowledges it, and the safety car has indeed now been called, but that was pretty late in the lap, and some of the guys don't know about it. Tom Coase. Oh boy, got to watch the flags.
He clearly hasn't seen the yellow flags there, and he's seen an opportunity to get past the car in front, and I think he's been concentrating on getting that job done rather than slowing down.
When racing resumed, there was more trouble.
Jacobson, race 1 winner, down the inside of Matthew Hart. This is for the lead at turn 6 in the gap. Gets it done. It's been a popular passing place this weekend, but although we've only just got back after a restart, Tim, the top few haven't been able to get away this time. Why so?
Well, I guess everyone's got through the hairpin fairly cleanly and managed to stay in the tow with one another, and they've all come round reasonably close on that first lap.
Oh, some of them have got a bit too close, though. That's Simon Hodge, and it looks like the rear end of that car's been snapped off, and he's not the only one involved. Sam Power's involved in that one as well. That's at pit lane entry. That's at turn 7. I'm not sure how they've managed to do that, but the leaders at the hairpin, Jacobson, Hart, Shea Davies, right with them. Replay here will maybe tell us the story. Bit hard to tell who did what to who.
Well, they've ended up a fair way out there.
Bang, right front's missing on Hodge's car, and then it's in the tyre wall, and both of those guys are done for race 2.
For nearly the entire race, nothing could separate the top 3, and as the laps counted down, the tension grew.
Jacobson trying to get up the inside. Davies, though, he was too busy launching a move on Hart. Look at the left front. Locked up, makes it around the corner, no problem.
He might have a problem. It was a fantastic move, but anytime you go hot into the hairpin, it makes you slightly vulnerable on the exit and on your run down to turn 6.
And that's what Hart is trying to take advantage of. Tucked into the slipstream. He wants to pop up the inside into turn 6 and take the lead back, but Davies is pretty good on the brakes.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job to stay in front there, and clearly got some good straight line handling to be able to stay in front with the guy in the slipstream behind.
Jacobson now making a move, and this is the thing. It's standard Formula 4. You'll remember this from your day. It's just on, and Davies makes an error. He's thrown it away. But it's standard Formula 4. It's wheel to wheel, gearbox to nose cone. It's great stuff. It hasn't changed.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome racing. I mean, I'd still love to be back there doing it.
Oh, I don't think you'd want to be in the middle of this, though. This is a bit willing. Down to the hairpin. Jacobson. Oh, just moving across on Davies, and LeBrock's caught them as well. Love that shot off the fence. I'm amazed the camera hasn't been knocked off. This weekend we've had to write an invoice. Now, Hart runs inside the road, but Tim, the hairpin here is unique in that you start on the inside, but by the time you're at the hairpin, you're on the outside.
Yeah, it is quite unique. You know, you could be mistaken for blocking, but that's the actual line leading out of the previous corner. You're on that side of the track, and you've got to make your way to the other to get your line right for the hairpin.
Look at LeBrock. He's nearly caught them. He can just about see them, but now the lunge is on. Jacobson wants to win his second race. He's had a little bit of a taste. He's down the inside. Hart has a bobble, so Davies sticks his nose up the inside in that brand new Spectrum 014 chassis. That these two cars are both new Spectrums, the Australian-built car. 4 of them in the field this weekend, but out front it's the good old French McGall that's leading the way.
Yeah, Jacobson would love to see that. You know, he's made a fantastic move, and you know, it's a good feeling as a race car driver to look in the mirror and see the two guys battling behind you, and you know that's your chance to make a break.
LeBrock here, runner-up in last year's championship, trying to get through on Shea Davies. Can't get it done. And this is the last lap, so it's now or never. And Jacobson's break looks like it's enough.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, when the car's sort of not within a car length of the car in front, it's really hard to pick up that slipstream, so I think he'll be pretty safe.
He's on his way to the final couple of corners. He took a breakthrough win in race 1 for the Sonic Motor Racing team. Michael Ritter and the crew will be ecstatic with this result. It will be 2 in a row from the kid from Shepparton. What a way to fight back in the championship. Hart's close, but not close enough. It's a win to the Victorian. Davies third, and again, like in race 1, set the fastest lap of the race. Jack LeBrock fourth, Tom Ghost is next. There's Liam Sager. He finishes back in P6, the 17-year-old from Queensland. 7 finishes from that one. Power, Hodge and Jones with dramas.
Up next, it's all the highlights from race 3. You're back with the Australian Formula Ford Championship. So far, Gary Jacobson had taken 2 from 2 and was looking good for the round win. 15 laps ahead of his third and final race, and again, Matthew Hart, the 17-year-old from the ACT, has got the jump just like he did in race 2. But Jacobson in second has had pole, 2 race wins, is on target to claim his first ever round win. He doesn't need to do anything silly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you'd love to take a third race win, but, you know, I know if I was Jacobson, I'd be pretty content with the round win.
Oh, you'd go for the race win, surely.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to take a clean sweep, but I'm sure, you know, a weekend for first for Jacobson, first race win, it'd be great to take his first round win as well.
Top 3 have broken away again. Shea Davies going with Hart, going with Jacobson. Jacobson's towed up. He's gone deep down the outside into turn 6. Pulls it up, but no, he doesn't. Left front locked. And that, we just started talking about round wins. That's off the radar now. He needs to charge back.
Oh, he would be furious. I know, I'd be furious with myself, and I'm sure the red mist will be down now, and he'll be doing everything in his might to get back to where he needs to be to win this round.
He rejoins in position 9, last on the road. He needs to work his way through, I think, about 5 or 6 by the maths to be able to win the round. But at front, Davies challenging, attacking Hart into the hairpin. Remember that the young Queenslander, he's never won a race at national level, the former Queensland state champ.
Despite his setback, Jacobson charged through the field to put himself back in contention for the round victory.
This has been a hell of a charge from Jacobson. This is now for 4th place on Jack LeBrock. He set the fastest lap of the race on lap 10, half a second faster than anybody else, including the leaders. And now that he's got to 4th, that's good news.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a super fast car all weekend, and that pass there actually just gave him the points to take the round win. So fingers crossed that that's where he stays.
And he'll also hope that Matthew Hart doesn't get past Shea Davies to claim the race win. So far, here's the Queenslander, 22-year-old Shea Davies, who last year was 10th in the Formula Ford Championship, as we mentioned earlier on the weekend. Had a shocker at Albert Park. He is really starting from a long way back. Matthew Hart has been really, really solid. A couple of runner-up results so far this weekend too, but just starting to lose touch with a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, I think he's slightly outbraked himself into the hairpin there. He's just outside of the toe, so he'll be pushing hard to make sure he gets back to that toe, and they got a massive gap to those guys behind.
This is Liam Sager defending 3rd spot down at turn 6. Jacobson's going the long way on him as well. Now, he got this wrong earlier on in the day. He needs to be a bit careful. Tries to switch it back and get up the inside of the 17-year-old Queenslander, but LeBrock is going with him as well. But Jacobson doesn't need to pass Sager to get those extra few points to win the round. Where he is will do, but try telling that to a young 20-year-old.
Oh, it's hard as well because you got LeBrock behind you within your toe, so you've got to try and push hard to get past the guy in front, but you also have to be defensive as well to make sure the guy behind doesn't get back through.
Liam Sager, it's been a little bit of a quiet weekend, a pair of 6th places in the Exceed Synergy Run Spectrum. It looks like he's got a bit of a break there, and LeBrock will probably help him out there. The run through the sweeper for the final time. That's a really big margin in a Formula Ford race. The top 2 have sprinted away. Not done with his heart. He's going to have a look at turn 6. Davies covers the inside line, and the Queenslander is going to sneak home off the final turn and pick up a breakthrough. Gets it sideways. Nothing like a bit of last lap drama. Hangs on and takes his first win at national level. Look at the background too. Jack LeBrock trying to get on through. Jacobson is 4th. That will give him the round win, but it's Davies who takes a win by just over a 1/10 of a second. Sager next from Jacobson, and LeBrock goes 6th, Power 7th, Jones and Noonan rounded out the 9.
Shay, if anyone deserved a race win this weekend, it was you. It wasn't all smooth sailing though, was it?
No, yeah, we managed to get into the lead reasonably early on, but then third gear started to let go on me, so I had to actually hold it into third in the last 3 laps, and going over the line it let go altogether, so I had to go to fourth early, but we got there, so thanks, yeah, really happy.
You said you were going to go for outright race wins and you need them for the championship, and that's, I guess, what you've delivered. You've gone hard.
Yeah, no, we had to go hard, and we had a little bit of bad luck earlier on in the weekend, some of my own fault, so yeah, it was nice to get there in the end, and hopefully we can continue the form.
And that win in the final race gives him second for the weekend, clear of Matthew Hart on a tiebreaker. But it's Gary Jacobson who clinches his first ever round win.
Gary, a round win, some race wins as well. A nice outing in Tassie for you.
Yeah, it was, in the end I was really happy with the weekend. I know there are things that I did wrong in the last race, and I want to build on that and grow as a driver, not just focus on one round. I want to focus on the rest of the year and just building my knowledge in the car.
And it moves him to the championship lead, just 2 points clear of Matthew Hart. Jack LeBrock slips back to third, but he's within 7, and Shay Davies launches up the scoreboard. He now sits 4th in points. So a great weekend in Tasmania. The Sonic team pick up another round win in the Australian Formula 4 Championship. Round 2 down, round 3 is next. It's from Phillip Island, supporting the V8 Supercars Championship on May 18 to 20 in Victoria. Thanks to Tim Slade and the whole team. I'm Aaron Noonan. We'll see you next time with the Australian Formula 4 Championship.